I'm Emily Harlan with GALvanize, sitting down with professional women's hockey player Chelsey Goldberg. Chelsey, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Emily. I'm really excited.
Awesome. One of the first things that I noticed in your bio is that you are a Hall of Famer, which is pretty cool. So you were recently inducted into the Jewish Sports Hall of Fame. I'm guessing that there aren't a lot of Jewish athletes in the sport of hockey. So why was that so meaningful to you?
Yeah, actually, really cool honor, really cool experience. I didn't know much about it going into it, so I had to do my research on it myself, and then fast forward to the actual induction. I learned a lot about it. There was a list of members being inducted previously, currently, overall. I was the first female hockey player, so that alone was a huge honor and very cool experience. So there were a couple men's hockey players, but as the first female being inducted, it was honestly very humbling and a cool experience, sharing it with my friends and family that were able to witness it with me.
Being the first female hockey player, how are you hoping that that kind of paves the way for other female hockey players who happen to be Jewish?
Yeah, for sure. I think one of my main goals, obviously I'm playing with the PWHPA, and our main goal is to kind of grow the game and create more awareness around professional women's hockey. So for me, being one of the first female hockey players inducted, I think my own personal goal is to keep spreading and keep growing the game. So I know hockey in Southern California has grown tremendously since I even started growing up playing with the boys. Now there's a ton of women's teams everywhere you look. So I think it's already grown, but my individual goal would be to continue to grow it further. So being able to represent that is honestly a huge honor for me, and I'm really excited.
I want to talk a little bit about recently Deshaun Jackson, who is a wide receiver for the Philadelphia Eagles, had a post on Instagram that had some anti-Semitic remarks, and it kind of opened up a conversation of racism and ignorance and bigotry. Have you ever had to have those kinds of conversations with the sport of hockey?
Yeah, you see it subtly, right? So I've always been one of the only Jewish players on every one of my teams, and it does take people by surprise at first. I've never really gotten hate remarks, hate comments, or anything like that, but I do get some comments like, "Oh, you're Jewish," like, "What does this mean?" or "What do you do differently?" type of thing than that. So I would say the majority of my teammates and staff members have always been more curious than anything, which is kind of cool because I know that they want to learn about it instead of obviously throwing those hate comments and remarks. So I would say, yeah, I hear it here and there, but it's never in a negative connotation, which to me, I think is great.
I want to talk also about a trip that you took in 2015 to Kenya with the athletics department with Northeastern University. How did that kind of change your perspective on life or open your eyes to things?
That was one of the best experiences of my life, and it has forever changed my experience and perspective on life as a whole. So for me, just being able to see the third world country and experience the life that they live on a daily basis has opened my eyes to the opportunity that we are gifted here in North America. And I think that concept alone is what changed my perspective on life. Just in the sense that we are so grateful to have even been born here. I experienced and witnessed a lot of crazy sights during my 2 weeks over in Kenya. So it's definitely made me a better person, and it's changed my perspective on every single aspect of life and everything I do in life. If I'm having a bad day or I'm feeling a certain way, I think back to that trip, honestly, and I snap out of it because I'm like, you know what? I'm so lucky to be where I'm at and in the shoes that I'm in.
When you say you witnessed some crazy sights, is there anything that you can kind of share with us that kind of embodies how crazy it was over there?
Yeah, I mean, you would just be driving down the road, and a lot of people actually lived on the side of the road. So whether it be in tents made out of anything that they could find or make their homes out of. The majority of the population was barefoot. The majority had ripped clothes or no, not really any clothes. So it was just like, it was insane. Just the overall experience shifted my perspective on everything. Just seeing that firsthand was absolutely wild.
I know you wrote about your experience, kind of blogged it. How was that kind of a therapeutic form for you?
It really allowed me to, so every single day we were on a mission to accomplish what we were doing, which was giving back to 6 different schools across 3 different regions in Kenya. So we would go to the school, we'd get all the kids' shoe sizes, clothing sizes, take them to town, get uniforms for the kids, get shoes for the kids, soccer balls, sporting equipment, pencils, paper, school supplies, everything you could think of. So we were busy throughout the whole day from 7 a.m. to honestly 10 p.m. And so at the end of the day, when I could really gather my thoughts and think about what we just experienced, witnessed, did, help these people with, that's when I could actually focus and think about what we just did. And it was my way of kind of putting what I saw with my own eyes on paper for everyone else to see and experience to a degree. So I think that was definitely therapeutic, because at the end of the day, I was like, I need to track this. I need other people to be able to experience the same thing that I'm experiencing without seeing it firsthand.
Yeah, I love that. I know in this conversation we're supposed to talk about your who and not your do, but so much of hockey has shaped your who. You broke both of your legs playing hockey. So how did that completely change you as a player and as a person?
That breaking my legs, like my Kenya experience, has also shaped me into the person I am today, for the better. And the reason I say that is because growing up playing hockey, my twin brother and I, we just naturally got hockey, and it was, while it fairly came easy to us, we still had to work our butts off for what we accomplished, but it was just natural for us. We were having fun playing the sport that we love, the sport that we were good at. So when I experienced these 2 broken legs, I mentally kind of freaked out, and I had no idea what I was even thinking or feeling, how to overcome it, and that took me by surprise. So not only did I break one, but then a year later I broke the second. So it was just like one after the next after the next. So I was actually out for 4 years out of hockey, and mentally was the most draining experience in my entire life, probably up to this point. And the reason I say it's shaped who I am is because I had to find a way to overcome those battles, to then get back to where I was, to then be able to play again and compete at the level that I was playing at. So it was a lot of small mental battles that I was facing, and I can't tell you how many times the thought of, do I just quit, or I want to quit, or I'm mentally tired and mentally drained, came through my head, and I had to find a way to overcome it. And I did it for myself, but I also did it for my coaches who believed in me, for my family who had just given their lives for us to play hockey, and they supported us 1,000%. And so I wanted to give back to the people that also gave me the opportunity to play the sport that I excelled at. And so yeah, the reason I say it's shaped who I am is because that also had to change my mental state, in a positive mind shift. And instead of being like, oh, woe was me, I broke both my legs, I had to turn it and be like, you know what, I'm going to embrace the adversity, because overcoming 2 broken legs is going to put me up here in the long run. And I know I can overcome anything in the end. And so now mentally, facing certain battles, like I just think back to that experience, and it's really helped me mentally stay strong whenever I'm kind of feeling doubt or I get another injury. I recently got surgery on my wrist. So you know what? All I can think about is another roadblock, maybe my body needed a break. So I switch it in my mindset. I switch it into a positive mindset versus the negative. And I embrace the adversity versus kind of shutting down. And that's what my main goal is, to help people who might be feeling similarly or might be experiencing similar situations. I want to help them overcome those hardships and adversity as much as they can.
Awesome. Chelsey, thank you so much for your time. This has been such a pleasure chatting with you. Thank you for sharing all about who you are.
Yeah, no, this has been awesome. I appreciate it.